Welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr, and this is Sticker Stint Day 8. And today I did an avocado killing things because millennials kill. Insert random dying business that refuses to change with the times. Seems to be every third headline that I've seen. So the sticker stint is going well. I am not burning out yet, and I actually got done fairly early with the sticker today, which was nice. But coming up with things to talk about on these videos every day, I don't know why that's so hard. But today I did try to do kind of a painterly style. Usually I do some flat colors and then add some radial gradients and some highlights that are kind of cell shaded. But what I actually did today was I experimented with some different brushes and I painted in some texture. And I kind of like how it turned out. Like, I like the little spots that I got and the different things. And so that looks kind of cool. Anyway, I did want to talk about a problem that I had when I was much younger. That maybe some of you guys have, but I definitely see it in a lot of my students. And it's something that I like to call artist by assignment only. And I used to do this when, before I really started drawing, when I was doing photography or, design or whatever. I would only do it when I was getting paid. I would only do it when I was assigned to do it. And the problem with that is that it becomes drudgery and it becomes work, and you lose the fun of it that way. If the only time that you ever touch your passion or whatever thing you want to call it is when you have to, then it's a chore, right? But if you can find a way to do that thing that you love when you don't have to, I feel like it gives it a lot more power. It definitely makes it a lot more entertaining, and it puts the ball in your court and gives you a lot more, motivation and a lot more autonomy. One of the things that is talked about often when it comes to satisfaction is autonomy and self-mastery. And if the only thing that you're doing to improve is to make more money, it's kind of a hollow self-mastery. Now, money is great, and I do jobs for money. I like doing that. But I also really enjoy being in a position where my day job is not soul-sucking, and it allows me to be able to kind of do whatever I want. So I can kind of pick jobs up or turn jobs down as they come, but it's not part of my everyday need. It's just kind of a nice extra bonus, which is cool. And I used to think that getting paid would validate my work, would validate my hobbies, my art, my photography, my graphic design, whatever it was that I was doing at the time, that getting paid would be the validation of that. And there's two problems with that. One is that it relies on other people making a decision. So it's kind of like setting sales goals. The problem with sales goals that I have is that there's only so much that you can do as a salesman to kind of work on that transaction. The other person still has to say yes, right? And so that's one problem. The other problem is if money's great, right? But if money is the end goal, it's a hollow victory almost, because at the end of it, you may not have made something that you like. You made something that your client wanted you to make or whatever. Now, I have done jobs where I've been really, really happy with the end result and very excited about how it turned out, and the collaboration between me and the client went awesome. And then I've also done jobs where it's like, dude, this is not going in my portfolio. I kind of wish this went another direction. Or I kind of like how it turned out, and I did a great job on what I was kind of cornered into doing, but I really wish I would have done X, Y, or Z, right? And and if the only thing that you get out of that relationship is money, then it's problematic, right? I read a book. It's Neil Gaiman. Make Good Art. Do I have that here? Make Good Art. It's an awesome book. It's from a speech that he gave, a speech that you guys can look up and watch for free. You don't necessarily have to buy the book, but he talks about the idea of doing something because you love it and you want to, because you want that thing to exist, or doing something for the money. And he said, doing something because you want to do it is good, and money will often follow. Not always, but will often follow that situation. But doing something for the money, you rarely will enjoy it. And then he says, and sometimes the money doesn't even come, right? And so if you take a job for the money and that's the sole reason that you take that job, there's nothing wrong with that. There's just a loftier and higher ideal that will give you more satisfaction on the jobs that you take, or the jobs that you do yourself, if you want to do that job. And so, anyway, there's a couple problems. But the other thing is if you're an assignment only artist, which I was for a really long time, I would only do things that people paid me to do. And I'm not talking about working for free. I'm just talking about just my own work. Like, I would only do things that people paid me to do. And so I never did anything for fun. I never did anything for the satisfaction of it. I never did anything for the enjoyment of it. I never did anything because, I've got this great idea, blah, 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 blah. Because I was just sitting there waiting for people to come and pay me to do stuff. And so what happened is I started, I don't know if you've ever known someone in multi-level marketing, but they start to get that mean and hungry look where everybody looks like a meal to them, right? And they start sacrificing and cannibalizing their relationships. And I used to tell those people, if they'd come to me and say, man, I've got a really good business opportunity for you. And I'd say, now hold on just a second. Before you move on, is this a multi-level marketing thing? And they, no, what it is, it's different. It is, but it's different. I'm just going to say real quick, I just want to let you know how I feel about this. If you value our relationship so cheaply that you are willing to trade it for money, I'm not interested in that relationship. And so I just want you to think carefully about, do you value this friendship, relationship, whatever the situation is, more than a couple bucks? Because if you do, it's best that we just stop having this conversation. Because what you're actually doing right now is you're trying to trade in the value of this relationship for cash. And what happens if you're an assignment only artist is you start to look at every person that you know that works at a company or owns a business or has an in with someone or is related to someone as a stepping stone towards cash. And you just start to say, how can I trade on this relationship? And how can I leverage this relationship and whatever? And if you begin to think of the human beings in your life as ways to leverage, exploit, trade, or exchange for cash, that's a sad and hollow place to be. It's a sad existence. And I'm saying this from personal experience. I remember feeling this way about people in my life, and then I thought, I don't like that. I'd meet somebody who had means, or I'd meet someone who was in a situation to put me in contact with somebody, and all of a sudden I didn't care about that person. I didn't care about, who they were as an individual or their friendship or anything. I just started caring about, how can I subtly kind of exchange this situation so that I can trade up, or do this. And I remember some really awkward situations in my early 20s where I was just stupid and probably quite rude because of this idea of being an assignment only creative. And anyway, so just some food for thought. And I want to be clear, I am not in any way knocking work for hire stuff. I'm not in any way knocking freelance. I'm not in any way knocking anybody who makes their living doing this stuff. because that's awesome. If you're able to do that, that is awesome. But I hope that in addition to the work that you're doing for money, that you are also doing work for yourself, that you're also creating personal projects that you like and you enjoy and you want to do, whether the money comes or not. And I have these projects. I would love for them to be wildly successful. I would love for everybody to buy the children's book that I'm going to finish this year. I would love for everybody to get out there and just like go nuts and go bananas about the stickers I'm creating this month or whatever, the T-shirts that I'm going to put out. Like that would be really cool. But if that never happens, I will still be really excited about the things I'm creating and the people that I'm meeting creating those things, because they're cool people and I'm making cool things. And I'm making the things that I like and the things that I want to make because I want to make them and they're awesome. And if the money comes, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. I no longer am concerned about validating my art with cash. It does feel good when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to give you money for the thing that you made, because money is hard to come by. And that's a huge compliment that people are willing to spend their money on something that I made. I love that. But it is a secondary reason now that I've grown and realized that if it's a primary reason, it's a sad, hollow existence. And so, anyway, I'm interested to know what you think on that topic. Slightly controversial, I think, on some aspects. I'm not trying to call anybody out, and feel free to disagree with me. That's totally fine. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, and I will see you guys tomorrow on day 9, where I am going to start doing. I've just finished the 5th book by Brandon Sanderson that I've read in the last little while. I started with the Stormlight Archives, which are fantastic. A little slow at the beginning and kind of weird in the first book, but the second book was really, really good. Kind of an odd ending, and the third book, like at the very beginning of the third book, because it had been a year or two since I'd read the first and the second book, the very beginning of the third book, I thought, oh man, I don't know if I'm nerdy enough to get into this. Like, do I really want to commit to like this level of nerdy? But it was not very long where I was like all in, and it is so good, and I am perfectly willing to totally geek out about it because it's awesome. It's the same guy who wrote Mistborn, which I haven't read. Anyway, I read 5 of the books. There's 3 from the Stormlight Archives, and then there's 2 what he calls novellas. They're really long books, but so good, so good. And so this week, or at least for the next 3 or 4 days, I'm going to be doing some kind of inside jokes to fans of those books. And so I'll explain them a little bit on each video, but if you haven't read the Stormlight Archives, or Edge Dancer, or Warbreaker, you might not get some of the references. Hopefully they'll still look really cool, which is my goal. So anyway, we will catch you guys tomorrow. I'm Cory Kerr. You can catch my stuff at kuretake.com. And if you want to jump in on a sticker stint and do all this jazz and make a bunch of stickers in a short period of time, go to kuretake.com/sticker stint to kind of see what's going on, and like and comment, and you guys are awesome, and I will catch you later. I'm out.